Good morning, everyone. Coming to you from the Sunshine Coast in British Columbia, Canada. And today is Wednesday. Today is the first time that I will be recording Stream of Consciousness from Free Flow to First Draft. It's a weekly knowledge building. And I'll just begin by telling you that surprisingly, a few years ago, I learned that I was a stream of consciousness writer, and we'll talk more about what that means. And it was very, very difficult for me to be in Bible school or in seminary and later on college, because as a stream of consciousness writer, I just wrote everything that came to me. Words and feelings and everything was jumbled, and then to hand those in for assignments was not appropriate. And so what I have decided to do is to every Wednesday share something about stream of consciousness writing for those of you who may be struggling with the same issues. Okay, and so welcome. And let me begin. So today, okay, I'm trying to go ahead with my PowerPoint here. And I know you won't be able to see the PowerPoint because I'm recording. And for some reason today, it won't allow me to share my PowerPoint. You know how it is. There's always a few technical issues, but we will go ahead anyways, and then I will post this video. So the presenting issue is that I am a stream of consciousness writer, okay? And as that, I need help because first of all, like what's happening? Okay, in my situation, which I'll explain a little bit further later on, I was really confused. I didn't know what was happening to me because I couldn't stop writing. And the first time this happened to me was in 2009 for an assignment. And I wrote over 50 pages for this assignment, and I could not stop. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I just had to keep going. The words came so quick, one downpour after another. And then I was barely done that one when another project appeared, just coming to me, and I had to keep writing and writing and writing. And then another project. I was really confused. I don't know if something like that has ever happened to you. You can put it in the comments for me, please, so I would know if you can relate to what I'm saying. The purpose for today's video is that I'm going to explain stream of consciousness writing and how it differs from other writing styles, okay? And because obviously, as someone who's been through a few levels of education, I've had to work really, really hard to have my papers accepted, that they're not just writing without punctuation, just full of a lot of feelings and thoughts. I really needed to work hard to get my papers accepted. But back to stream of consciousness writing, it is a narrative technique that depicts the continuous flow of thoughts, feelings, and sensory experiences passing through a character's mind, right? So just what I was saying to you there, I was sitting at the computer and all of a sudden the flow came, the thoughts came, the feelings came, and sensory experiences. And the only way I could deal with it was to write everything down. This style aims to provide a direct and unfiltered presentation of a character's inner life. Okay, so it's direct and unfiltered of what's going on in me. Often eschewing traditional narrative structures such as linear progression and logical sequencing. Psychologist William James coined the term in his book, The Principles of Psychology in 1890. It became a notable literary technique through the works of early 20th century writers like James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, and William Faulkner. Okay, so just to recap, I will read the definition for you one more time without adding anything to it. Stream of consciousness writing is a narrative technique that depicts the continuous flow of thoughts, feelings, and sensory experiences passing through a character's mind. This style aims to provide a direct and unfiltered presentation of a character's inner life. Okay, so what's the point then? For me, I was looking for answers, and maybe you're looking for answers as well. How long have writers used stream of consciousness writing? How do I integrate stream of consciousness writing with more structured styles? How difficult is it to move from stream of consciousness writing to more academically structured styles? How does stream of consciousness writing serve a Christian audience? And how does this kind of writing affect the reader? How successful are stream of consciousness writers at selling their work in a world does not embrace the messiness of human thought? So these are some of the questions I'm posing and will seek to answer through the next few videos. So the plan then is that we will look at the characteristics of stream of consciousness writing. We will look at differences from other writing styles, and we're going to look at some benefits of stream of consciousness writing, the historical background, and some famous authors and their work. So to begin then, stream of consciousness writing has particular characteristics. For example, it's an inner monologue. Okay, this style often employs an inner monologue where the character's thoughts are presented directly to the reader without the mediation of an objective narrator. The inner monologue can be fragmented and disjointed, reflecting the natural flow of thoughts. So when I was writing in a stream of consciousness style, right, it's stuff that's going on inside of me, where my thoughts were on maybe some terrible things that happened to me. And what I would do is create a character, like, for example, Pastor Carly. Okay, Pastor Carly is in 2 of my big projects. And she may be in the 3rd one too, we'll see. Actually, I think she is in the 3rd one too. Okay, so Pastor Carly would be there reflecting her own thoughts, feelings, and sensory experiences, and but it would be me writing about me, and she would be the character. There were in Evil Lurking from Electric Chair to Kingdom, what's it called? From Electric Chair to Kingdom Grace. Oh, I forgot the word for a minute, the title of my book. But I'm able to write about people who have done some very evil things. And the reason I can do that is because I've listened to many stories, and it's fairly easy for me to put myself in the shoes of someone who's done some terrible things and become that character as I write out their story. And so it says here, without the mediation of an objective narrator. So no one is actually there telling the story of the prisoner or telling the story of the murderer. It's the murderer telling their own story, but in my words, okay? Please, if you have any questions, post them on Facebook, in the comments, or on YouTube. Please comment and ask, and I will surely answer you. Non-linear narrative. Unlike traditional narrative styles that follow a clear beginning, a middle, and an end, stream of consciousness writing can jump back and forth in time, mimicking the associative nature of human thoughts. Memories, sensory expressions, and reflections intertwine seamlessly. I don't know if you can imagine what my papers look like. And I think of one professor in particular. He could not believe what I had written. But he also didn't understand that what was happening was I was getting downloads on the Evil Lurking book, for example, and from Electric Chair to Kingdom Grace. Yes, that's what it's called. I was getting downloads in the Christian ethics class. And instead of writing something very academically appropriate, the flow was just coming. And just like it says here, writing can jump back and forth in time, mimicking the associative nature of human thought. And memories came. So many memories came, so many experiences, things I had experienced that I imagined others experiencing came to me, and I could not stop writing. Only until, so I nearly failed all those important papers, except one of the other professors who understood me went to talk to my professor. And so needless to say, I didn't pass with honors. I barely passed Christian ethics. But thank God I received some help, because this professor, Dr. Joyce, she saw something happening. She realized that something was going on in me. And even when I look back now, I can tell you that for years and years and years, I had amnesia. I didn't remember things. I was already in my 50s, and I didn't remember my childhood. I didn't remember, my first relationship, and I honestly didn't remember anything good. I just remembered bad, evil things that happened. And so this was one way for me to get it out on paper, get it out of my mind and out of my heart, to be able to look at what I was writing. I got to know myself during the stream of consciousness writing. I got to know that Pastor Carly is actually Pastor Martina, because I used to be a pastor and I used to be a chaplain. And all the other characters in the book have some part of me, some part of my story that is attached to them. So this was very, very healing. All these different projects that I've been working on have been healing, and have brought me from someone who was like a doormat, somebody who just lays down and let everyone walk all over them, to someone who has thoughts and feelings, and also is interested and willing to talk about what's going on. Not always, but most of the time in a loving way. So the next thing then, the next characteristic is free association. Characters' thoughts are presented as they occur, often through free association. Okay, this means that one thought leads to another in a seemingly random but psychologically authentic manner, without the constraints of logical transitions or narrative coherence. Okay, in other words, when things came, when a memory came, when a story came, it just came, and it was very authentic. I keep thinking of Teresa of Avila, and I don't have her book with me right now, and I can't recall the name of it, but it's kind of like her writing, right? She has this huge book, a very thick book. Is it called The Interior Castles? It could be. And she writes, to me, when I was reading it, it was in a stream of consciousness, in a free association kind of writing. And I have to say I had difficulty reading her work, even though that is the way I write too. And then another characteristic is a lack of conventional grammar, right? The writing often mimics the pace and rhythm of natural thought, resulting in long, winding sentences or abrupt, fragmented phrases. And that is so, so true. Again, let me take you back to my Bible school days. And I may have been taking, it may have been systematic theology. I didn't understand a thing, honestly. And my first paper, when I looked back to it a couple of years ago, it was all quotes, because I didn't have any knowledge about systematic theology. There was no storyline. There was absolutely nothing for me to pull from. So the only way I could write about systematic theology is by reading books and bringing quotes. Later on, I would learn that you use a quote and then you elaborate on it, but you don't hand in 300 quotes and say that's a good paper. Thank goodness, many professors are very kind, and this professor gave me an opportunity to redo my paper with some tutoring. So again, any thoughts? If you have any thoughts about what I'm saying, if you can relate to what I'm saying, please put a comment in the Facebook page, comments, or even on YouTube. I would very much appreciate that. And if you do see this video on YouTube, please subscribe, okay? And ring that little bell, highlight that little bell, so you will get all the videos that are pertaining to this subject. Let's take a look at historical background, okay? And so stream of consciousness writing is a literary technique that captures the flow of thoughts and feelings passing through a character's mind. Okay? So this is actually what happens. And I did not know that. When I was experiencing these downpours, I literally thought I'd lost my mind. I didn't know that what was happening was actually very freeing, because not only the education, all the different things I learned, but all my life's experiences, they were all stuck in my head and in my heart, and they needed to come out so I could be free of them and I could actually live in the present moment. The origins of this narrative style can be traced back to the late 19th and 20th centuries. And I was very surprised when I read, we'll get to it later. Oh yeah, here he is. William James already started writing about this stream of consciousness in 1890. So, so this was a period marked by significant shifts in literary, psychological, and philosophical thinking. Okay, so like I said, stream of consciousness was first coined by the American psychologist William James in The Principles of Psychology in 1890. James used the term to describe continuous flow of thoughts in the conscious mind. He proposed that consciousness is not a series of discrete elements, but a flowing, ongoing process. I can attest to that, as I mentioned to you a few moments ago. This idea of a fluid, uninterrupted stream of thought influenced many writers who sought to replicate this phenomenon in their literary work. And we will take a look at two-way journaling, okay, in where I'm currently studying at Christian Leadership University, and one of the first courses we take is communion with God. No, 4 keys to hearing God's voice. Okay, and what it teaches us is that Jesus will speak to us in this kind of a manner, right? Where he speaks to us, and we write down what he says. It is different than stream of consciousness, but it is something very important to look at during these weekly knowledge builder sessions. Now, before the stream of consciousness technique was formally recognized, okay, several writers exhibited elements of this style in their work. For example, Lawrence Stan's The Life and Opinions of Tristram Shandy Gentleman in 1759 is often cited as an early precursor, because his narrative digression and attempts to capture the erratic nature of thought foreshadowed later developments in stream of consciousness writing. And so, as I pause for a moment to just add here, stream of consciousness writing is nothing new. What we're going to learn about is the process of how to be free in it. Allow yourself to be, I wrote a book called I Was Taken Hostage by all these downflows, right? Because I had so many. But to make sense of it. And then if this happens to you, especially if you're a student who is required to write academic papers, there are ways of how you can teach yourself or how you can get help in moving from this technique over to other techniques that will help you actually write great papers. So in addition to Lawrence Stan, there was another precursor of the French novelist Edouard Dujardin, and particularly his novel Les Lauriers Sont Coupés in 1888. Dujardin's use of interior monologue to depict the protagonist's thoughts in real time was a significant step toward the development of the stream of consciousness technique. And a pause for a moment. And when you see me pausing like that, it's usually because I have a thought, something that wants to be written down or shared. So what I want to say is that for those of us who have this kind of writing style, there are some who actually practice writing this way. Okay, they develop this technique and use it in their creative projects. Now, to continue, the technique truly came into its own during the modernist movement, which spanned from the late 19th century to the early 20th century. Modernist writers sought to break away from the traditional narrative structures and experimented with alternative forms and styles to capture the complexities of human experience. Right? We are not all academics. And we're not all left brain thinkers who have to have everything organized, put in a nice box, and 10 words per sentence and a period at the end, or we're not all like that. And it's very interesting to me that and I didn't know all of this before I'm actually starting this this series. It is just so interesting how we have the right brain, the left brain thinkers, and when we have people that really break away from traditional narrative structures, maybe not because they choose so, just because that's how they're writing. That's how the pressures, the memories, the whatever is going on in their head is coming out, and in their heart. James Joyce is often credited with popularizing the stream of consciousness technique in the literature Ulysses in 1922, and it's said to be a cornerstone of modernist literature. His innovative use of stream of consciousness allows readers to delve deeply into the mind of characters like Leopold Bloom and Stephen Dedalus. Ulysses captures the minutiae of everyday life and the intricate workings of the human mind, making it a landmark experience, achievement in using this technique. And I'm reminded how years ago I watched a movie about a writer, and maybe it was a French writer. For some reason, I'm thinking it just took place in France. And this movie was about someone who was stream of consciousness. And he did have a publisher. How many pages? I wish I knew the number. I will try to look it up for next time when I speak. But let's say he had 1,900 pages for one topic, right? And the person who is the publisher, his editor, said, you have to cut that down. You absolutely like you have 10 books in one kind of thing. And so he tried, and I do not recall if he was successful or not, or if he published it just like that. But I'll do my best to find out more information for you and post it next time. So, as you could see, there are several different authors who have employed stream of consciousness in their novels. Like, for example, Virginia Woolf in Mrs. Dalloway in 1925 and To the Lighthouse in 1927. She uses the technique to explore the inner lives of her characters. Her writing often shifts fluidly between different characters' thoughts, creating a rich tapestry of consciousness that reflects the complexity and interconnectedness of the human experience. It's so, how shall I say? Sometimes when you read a book, you can just read it, not really feeling what's happening to the people. And, you can just skim the whole thing and you're done. But stream of consciousness writing, from what I'm understanding here, it is so different because it grabs our attention and we're following the characters' thoughts, their feelings, and their experiences. William Faulkner, an American writer, also made significant contributions to the development of stream of consciousness writing. His novel, The Sound and the Fury, in 1929, is a prime example, featuring multiple narrators and fragmented, non-linear storytelling. Faulkner's use of stream of consciousness helps to convey the psychological depth and turmoil of his characters, particularly through the mentally disabled Benji and the introspective Quentin. Next slide. So the influence of stream of consciousness writing extended beyond the modernist period, shaping the works of many postmodern and contemporary writers. Authors like Samuel Beckett, Jack Kerouac, and Toni Morrison have incorporated elements of this technique into their works, further exploring the boundaries of narrative and consciousness. In contemporary literature, the stream of consciousness technique continues to be a powerful tool for writers aiming to delve into the intricacies of the human mind. It offers a unique way to portray the fluidity of thought and the subjective nature of reality. It's like having a privilege of really delving into getting to experience what is truly going on in the character. Every emotion that they're feeling, every thought they have, and everything that they experience comes out in this kind of writing. It's almost like putting yourself in their shoes, living their life. So, in conclusion of the historical background, and I will be sharing more on these points in the next, I think it's in the next week's recording. But to conclude it, the stream of consciousness technique has a rich and varied history. It's rooted in psychological theory and literary experimentation. From its early manifestations in the works of Lawrence Stan and Edouard Dujardin to its full flowering in the hands of modernist masters like James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, and William Faulkner, the technique has profoundly shaped the landscape of literature. Its continued use and evolution in contemporary writing attests to its enduring power and versatility as a narrative device capturing the ceaseless and intricate flow of human consciousness. To just pause here because again, as someone who experienced stream of consciousness writing without having any knowledge about it, and thinking that psychologically there's really something wrong with me, right? It has been, well, since 2009. So how many years is that? Oh, that's 15 years, right, of working with my writing, inviting others to help me, and as I will explain further on, different apps and just different ways of how to make my writing more easier for those of you, those readers who really like a nice package. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, here it is. This is what I wrote in my book, Phenomenology, A Transformational Journey. And I wrote it, and it's on page, what we're reading about right now is on page 26. It takes many drafts to complete a project. Each draft challenges me to think deeper about my topic at hand. Each draft allows my creativity to flow and surprise me. Each final draft, there have been 4, releases incredible energy just before another liminal space hits. I discovered editing apps like Grammarly, Hemingway, and ProWriting 8. These help me improve my writing skills. I use the Word Voice program to have my writing read to me, and then I immediately correct any mistakes I catch. Okay, so what I'm saying here is when I first started writing, even my papers, I would hand in my first draft because I didn't know I had to actually work with each paper. As at the writing of these comments here, I was saying that That was Evil Lurking from Electric Chair to Kingdom Grace. I was in my final draft, saying there have been 4. But even after that final draft, there were many more final drafts thinking that I was done. But I needed to go back and find more errors or find more places where there was something missing to make my story a real story. So in my current season, still between completing and publishing my most significant projects, I have a visceral sense of head-to-heart coherence. Okay, I'm no longer only flowing from the emotional part of me. I can do this because I've been practicing centering, and especially because I belong to writers' groups. I use the skills I learned from coaches, especially writers' group readers. I would not have made it this far without them. If I did not have these friends and these supporters to help me with my writing, my projects would not be completed as they are today. And when invited, the flow of the river of God assists during the in-between time. The Holy Spirit leads me to open a book I haven't seen for years or watch a video I never meant to watch. This is His invitation to take time for research or free time to contemplate how I learned. And this all fits into my project, or even which project to add the research to. I also asked if my research is part of the new project. So what I'm saying here, and I can see where there's definitely some further writing needed, what I'm saying here is that, after the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th draft, right, the Holy Spirit may say to me, okay, I want you to pick up a certain book. And as I'm flipping through it, it jumps out at me a quote or something that would make sense in that chapter. And or maybe a YouTube video. I'll look up something and then it's like, oh yes, that makes sense. I need this information. I need this knowledge to help me move forward. Okay, and then asking God if my research is part of a new project is very important too, because trying to stuff something into a project where it doesn't belong, I don't want to do that, right? I need clarity. I need to be concise, as concise as I can be, and as clear as I can be on each project. And and we will talk more about that, how to become clear and really know what needs to happen, what we need to do. There are a list of helpful YouTube videos here, and I will post them in the on Facebook and in the YouTube, where the comment section is, the description section. And then I hope this to be a 52 weeks of helpful knowledge series, and you will find it in my Facebook page, From Dream to Draft, the Christian Writers Workshop. Okay, and I will be posting a Zoom link. I realized that when I did post this, I should check it, because maybe I took the actual Zoom link out of it, and but I will check that for next time. So this is all that I'm going to be presenting today. And what I'd like for you to do is send me a takeaway. Okay, like, what have you learned from today's content? Was it helpful in any way? And do you have any questions? is there something you would like me to research for you and present it? So I do look forward to talking to you next Wednesday, and may all be well with you. Amen.